Well, welcome back, everybody. It is Wednesday. It is August the 7th, 2024. It's another new guitar day. If you don't like rants, hit the fast forward button because you're going to get about a 2-minute rant. My battery's getting low, so it's probably going to go out. And if it does, we'll just jump in and actually, we'll just do it ahead of time, because when it goes, it goes. So we'll be right back. There we go, fresh battery. You never knew I was gone. So the rant is this. As you can clearly see, once again, Amazon, in their infinite stupidity, has sent me a guitar in a giant box. It's just a huge waste of resources, of cardboard, and I know that they get a cut rate discount for their stuff from UPS, but UPS charges dimensional weight. So when you have a box this big, they're charging you extra, and yeah, this is pretty funny. So let's just gaze in the box, shall we? Someone was really generous with their packing material, and they actually put this in there. Just absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, so this guitar has just been bouncing around in the box, which sort of defeats the purpose of double boxing. I don't know what to say. I've mentioned it to them. They don't care. So, as you can see, we have another Bullfighter guitar. I want to make a note here that this guitar looks like it has had some damage, which leads me to believe that this guitar has probably been, this is definitely, you can see that it's been retaped. So we'll be giving them a call about that. That's a shipping issue. Amazon just loves hearing from me. So let's just take that extra moment for our benefit to prove that the box was opened and retaped clearly. So who knows what we've got in here. Let's peek on the back here and see. So this is I think this is a K6. Yes, that's what they call it. This is a K6. So I've had I think the K10. It was the acoustic silent guitar. Their descriptions are pretty funny. It had the humbucker and the built-in effects. And again, Bullfighter, nice guys, decent people, but they do run an interesting operation. And I have mentioned to them on more than one occasion that their advertising is very misleading. They say that this guitar has built-in effects when it doesn't. The one that has built-in effects, they say that it doesn't, so it leads to a confusing situation. The other thing that's interesting, so you can see that it's missing the support, so the guitar was not only bouncing around in the bigger box, but it was bouncing around in the smaller box. The other thing I find interesting is they've got a big giant warning label on the box about the lithium battery, and there is no lithium battery. Okay, so I contacted the guy and asked him specifically, does this take a 9-volt battery? He said yes. Okay, so it looks like it does. But we're going to have to investigate exactly how that battery goes in there. It took sort of an interesting, sort of unusual, okay, so we see it. So it says that positive is on this side. Okay, so battery goes in, snaps in. So now we're going to do a quick inspection. The fret ends on this are absolutely abysmal. I mean, just embarrassing. I won't even be able to play this guitar until I run a file down it. They should just be absolutely ashamed that they send a guitar out in this condition. Just ashamed. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. I can't even believe it. I'm going to plug it in just to make sure it works. It's interesting. The binding is just, yeah, it's like black binding. Okay, well, it doesn't look like there's any breaks. But yeah, these fret ends. I'm going to run a file down this before we even attempt to do anything. So, well, it looks like it survived the trip. It's an interesting looking guitar. Yeah, well, I'll be back with more stories and tales. I'm just curious to see if this thing hums, because that was the main problem I had with the other one. So I'll be back. Well, welcome back, everybody. Again, it is later in the evening. It's about 6:15. And I haven't got to play this guitar very much. And the reason why, drum roll please, is because this guitar needed some attention. As mentioned as I was running away, the fret ends on all three of the Bullfighters that I've gotten have been absolutely abysmal. And I just sent them an email saying, here's the simple truth. There's a lot of choices for guitars out there in this price range. And I've had three of these. Two of them were the K10, the hybrid guitar that had the humbucker and the built-in effects. And then I guess this is the K6. They like their names. And hands down the winner of the worst frets out of the box contest are these three Bullfighter guitars. Now I've read quite a few reviews and not everyone's having the same experience, and so that comes down to QC. They purchased the sticker, as you can see. It probably doesn't focus, but that little gold sticker right here says that it passed QC, but I think what it passed was the guy who puts the QC stickers on the guitars. Yeah. So fortunately, I have the tools. Fortunately, I have a little bit of the skill. Not that it takes much of a skill, but it takes a little bit of a skill. And I was able to slap these fret ends in shape. Took about 15 minutes. The action on this guitar was quite high, and the neck needed an adjustment. I decided to solve the action problem the easiest way for me, which was just to put a shim in the neck pocket. A lot of people report taking the saddle out and sanding it down. That seemed like too much bother. Being the lazy guy that I am, I go for the quickest solution, and the shim actually did exactly what I wanted, which is it brought the action into a much more, you probably can't see, but a much more reasonable range. So that's taken care of. There is a bit of a hum in the preamp for the Piezo. If you touch the jack output plate, it goes away, so that tells you there's a grounding issue. But for the volume I'm playing, not a big deal. So yeah, so I wrote Bullfighter and basically just said, the average person that pulls this out of the box is going to want to play. And with the fret ends in the condition they were, you could not play this guitar without injuring yourself. I mean, we're not talking fret sprout, that everyone always talks about. Yeah, if you have extreme weather conditions, and of course this guitar is made in, China, and gets on a boat and it's put in a container and it's in trucks and planes and automobiles and everything. I understand that, but this was not fret sprouts. This was just whoever cut the frets just did nothing. And again, if he would have even taken a mill file and just gone up and down the side of the neck 3 times, it would have been 100% better. So to me, it's laziness on their part. Maybe because I'm lazy, I deserve to get a guitar made by someone who's lazy. The Piezo pickup on this guitar actually sounds pretty darn good, considering. I mean, again, the price range of this guitar I think sells for $180. They've got 10% off now. I think that brings it down to about $165. You know, I mean, again, its competition starts at $300, $400, $500, and I'm sure that, you know, right there, you're going to notice a definite difference. They have gone through some, I don't want to say upgrades, but some evolution. The first group of these, there was no battery compartment. The battery went in here, and it was watch batteries. The second iteration, which was the K10 that I had, took 2 AA batteries. And I didn't like either of those options. I'm just sort of, old-fashioned, 9-volt, give me 9-volt, baby. So I wrote to the guy and asked him specifically, what are you using in the current model? And he said 9-volt, and sure enough they are, so that's good. So I'll be back in a week. I mean, I called them and I complained about the fact that the box was retaped. They said, well, if it's damaged, you can send it back. I said, it's not damaged. It's just really the principle. You know, when you buy something brand new, it should be taped once. It should be taped at the factory. You're the first person from the factory who gets to gaze upon the beauty of your guitar. I have no idea if this thing made it out of the box or not, but the box had definitely been opened because, again, it's fairly obvious when you see tape, as you in the beginning of this video. So they said, well, your only option is to send it back and get another one. And I said, let's think about this for a moment. First of all, and again, I'm not a person who believes the customer is always right, because the customer is often wrong. But in this case, it's like, what would make me the happiest? Packaging this up again, especially considering the refrigerator box that they send it in. Packaging it up, waiting for the UPS guy to come, pick it up, send it back, and have another guitar sent to me, and who knows what. This one's like a bird in the hand, right? I said, doesn't it make more sense? I mean, again, keep in mind now, you theoretically have to sell this guitar as used, so that's going to whack some money off of you. You're paying for it to be shipped to me, you're paying for it to be shipped back, you're paying for another one to be shipped to me. I said, I don't know how it all comes out in the end, but doesn't it make more sense to just give me a $25 gift card and I'm happy and the guitar stays here and I'll just deal with whatever comes up? And they clutched their pearls and they gnashed their teeth and they went back and forth between management and I had to sit on hold and listen to. Fortunately, Amazon has reasonably decent music, and they said yes. So that whacks another $25 off this guitar. So I'll take that as the labor cost that it took me to get the fret ends in shape and to pull the neck and put a shim in and adjust the truss rod. And so in the end, it sounds like it's a fairly even trade, at least for the moment. So we will be back in a week or two to give you the final analysis. I don't see any new guitars on the horizon. Doesn't mean anything, because there's always a guitar on the horizon, right? That's my motto. There's always a guitar. I forgot to weigh this. I'm sure, I can already tell you it's going to be 5.7 pounds, but let's just go ahead and weigh it. Hold on. And it comes in at 6 pounds even. Nice even 6 pounds. So, all right, well, we'll see you in a week or two, maybe sooner, maybe later. Till then. Welcome back, everybody. It is now Saturday afternoon. It is August the 10th, 2024, in the middle of summer, but up here in Montana, we're enjoying some cooler than average weather, which is a nice change. And Yeah, I'm back quicker than I expected, and I'll tell you why in a moment. But again, this is the second part two, the second part of the review for this Bullfighter, what they call the K6, which is just the Piezo pickup. Again, I mentioned that I had the K10, which was the hybrid, had the Piezo and the humbucker. I had two of those. I sent the first one back. The second one had the same exact issues. They were exasperated with me. They gave it to me. I ended up selling it to a guy who was pretty confident that he could solve the problem that I was unable to solve. And this guitar has the same exact problem, and the problem is that it has a 60 cycle hum, a grounding issue, which when you're playing the guitar, obviously the volume of the guitar is louder than the hum, but you know, my feeling is I've had other guitars. I currently have one from IYV that has a Piezo pickup. No hum at all. And everything I've read online indicates that it's sort of the nature of the beast with a Piezo pickup, because apparently it has incredibly high impedance, and somewhere in the chain it's trying to lower the impedance. But according to most people, the proper shielding and grounding solves the problem. And like I said, I mean, back in the mid-70s, I had one of Ovation's first acoustic electric guitars that had a Piezo pickup. No hum issues at all. And I mean, again, now we're talking almost 50 years ago. So obviously there are solutions, and Bullfighter doesn't want to cop to it. I sent them an email, and they basically wrote back and said, whoa, that's just, these guitars do that. And it's like, well, okay, maybe they do, but I'm not interested, and I don't really want to be the guy that takes the time and puts the effort in to solve the problem. If I loved this guitar, perhaps I would, but I can't say that I love this guitar. You know, I like the K10. It had potential. As I mentioned in all three videos, the fret ends on these were absolutely abysmal. I mean, this guitar does win the award for the worst fret ends of a new guitar. No, it doesn't take much work if you've got the right tools and you've got the time and you've got a little bit of skill. But that's not good. You know, the average person buying this guitar in the 160, 80, they have a coupon now, takes it down to about 160. That person is probably not going to have the tools or the skills to solve the problem, and their first reaction is going to be what mine was, which, absent taking care of that issue, this guitar was unplayable. I mean, it would cut you. You know, a lot of people use that cheese grater and blood on the fingers. This guitar had shards, little knives, and it would have cut you if you tried to play it. So I had to solve that problem, which I was happy to do. And they refunded me $30 for that, which won't matter now because that $30 will go back to them because I am going to return this guitar. It's too bad because the potential's there. The neck profile's nice, the weight of the body's nice. I don't like the color. The picture shows it to be a lighter brown. This has a little bit of, I don't know, red in it. It's hard to tell. I mean, the cameras aren't really accurate. But I mean, this thing is like black as far as I can tell. Or as close to black as you can get, the darkest brown in the world. Anyways, I wouldn't send it back for that. I have yet to send back a guitar to Amazon, or for that matter. Well, no, I've sent a couple of guitars back to a few other people and paid the penalty when it was a remorse buy, when I just didn't like the guitar. This guitar, if it didn't have the hum problem, I would have kept it. I may have ended up selling it because I didn't really like it, but I wouldn't burden Amazon with taking the return. But I consider the hum to be a defect, and a defect that I don't want to live with. And again, some may call me persnickety, and perhaps I am. But anyways, that sums up our experience. And yeah, I mean, the telltale sale of a grounding issue is you have the hum, and if you touch the jack plate and it goes away, that's an indicator that it's not grounded properly. And I'm just not technically savvy enough to go through what needs to be gone through. And more to the point, truth in advertising, I am lazy. I buy guitars to play, not to work on them. I have nothing but admiration for people who have skills and like to modify things in, you know, someone else's hands, this guitar, maybe it's a 10-minute fix for someone who knows what they're doing and has the skills and ability. That's just not me. And it's important in life to know what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. And I'm definitely not Mr. Fix-It when it comes to guitar. So there you go. So that sums it up. So I will be contacting them, boxing this up as soon as I hit the stop button. And yeah, wave goodbye. This is my third try at this style of Bullfighter. Like I said, 2 K10s and now 1 K6. And when I'm returning it, I'm going to be really tempted when it says, would you like us to replace it with another one? Because it costs nothing. But I think I'm going to be a swell guy because I just have a feeling that number 4 is going to have the same exact issue. I will say, as a bit of a, is it called an addendum? That when I first plugged this guitar in, I didn't hear any hum. So, and you know, I think I had the same experience with the other Bullfighter. Like the first time I plugged it in, no hum. And then the second time I played it, I noticed there's a bit of a hum there. And then as I played around with the volumes, again, if you turn the volume way down and you play really loud, your playing will cancel out the hum. But I just, yeah. And again, if I really like this guitar, I might live with the hum, but I don't really like this guitar. So that's really a critical thing. And I apologize to Amazon. I don't mean to take advantage of their generous return policy, and it is very generous. But yeah, when they get tired of being generous, then they'll say, no, you can't return your guitar. And by the way, as we exposed, this guitar was an open box guitar. Whatever that means, I don't know why the box had been opened. But if you look at the beginning of the video and you see that the tape had been broken and it had been retaped. So I called them out on that too and said that that's just, you know, when you buy a new guitar, you want it factory fresh, baby. You don't want it opened up and pawed over by other people. So anyways, that concludes our latest open box, sold as brand new Bullfighter K6, what they call their silent guitar, what they continue to advertise as the guitar with effects. And it doesn't have effects. And the K10 has effects, but they don't advertise that it has effects. And I have written an email to the Bullfighter company and said, hey, you guys need to get it together here and put accurate descriptions on your guitars, or otherwise you're just going to have a lot of unhappy people and they, oh yeah, we're going to do it, and yeah, we're going to do it, and they don't do it. So Bullfighter needs to get it together, whoever they are. Anyways, thank you for joining me again, August 10th, 2024, Saturday afternoon. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.